She said I'm not pretty. His reply changed everything. Heart-touching cowboy love story. The twin suns were just beginning to dip below the jagged red cliffs of Outpost Iridian, painting the dusty streets in streaks of orange and gold. The wind carried a faint hum, the kind made by hovering machines and distant starships, and the faint scent of metal and fuel. In the middle of the main street, Alara Quinn crouched by her hover wagon, tools scattered around her like a silver spiderweb. Her fingers were black with grease, and her overalls had more smudges than clean spots. She hummed softly, trying to tune out the whispers of townsfolk passing by. They always seemed to have something to say about her messy hair, her clothes, her quiet way of moving. She usually ignored it. Today, though, the words felt heavier. "Not pretty," she whispered under her breath, tightening a bolt that refused to turn. Her reflection in the polished chrome of the wagon showed a face smudged with grime, tired eyes and a crooked smile she barely used. Why would anyone like me? A soft whir behind her made her glance up. Hover boots clinking on the metal street, and then the unmistakable silhouette of a rider appeared. A tall man with a long brown duster, a wide-brimmed hat tilted low, and a mechanical arm glinting in the sun. His boots made quiet sparks on the metal walkway, and his eyes, dark and steady, were fixed on her. A bounty hunter? A tracker? Someone who could find anything, anywhere, even when no one else dared. And somehow, he was staring at her, curiosity clear in his gaze. "Need a hand?" he asked, voice low, calm, carrying just enough humor to make her ears heat. I've got it," she said quickly, hoping she sounded confident, but her hands shook just slightly as she twisted the wrench. "You sure?" Ryder took a step closer, surveying the hover wagon with a practiced eye. "Could save you some time." "I don't need saving," she muttered, though her heart beat faster. Ryder raised a brow, the corner of his mouth twitching into a half-smile. "Noted. Still, maybe you could use company." She wanted to look away, to wipe her hands on her overalls, but something about him made her stay. Maybe it was his calm presence, or maybe the way he didn't judge her like everyone else. I'm not pretty," she said before she could stop herself. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Not like the others here in the town. People, they just see me as nothing." He didn't laugh, didn't look away, didn't dismiss her. He simply knelt beside the hover wagon, as if sharing the same space was a silent kind of respect. His mechanical fingers brushed a speck of dust off a panel, and then he looked at her with steady, honest eyes. "Pretty isn't what matters out here," he said finally. "It's courage, it's heart. And trust me, those who notice the rest are missing the part that matters most." His words weren't grand or fancy, but they reached something buried deep in her, something that had been silent for years, drowned out by her own doubts and the whispers of others. Before she could respond, a small beep sounded from the street's communication board. Ryder's eyes flicked toward it, calculating. "That's a lost AI drone," he said. "Last seen near the Red Spine Canyon. Dangerous to leave it unattended. It can cause chaos if it falls into the wrong hands." Alara's curiosity stirred. "A drone? Dangerous?" "Yep. And I need someone who knows machines, someone who can handle tricky tech." He tilted his head toward her. "Think you're up for an adventure?" Her heart jumped. Adventure. Not just a fix for a hover wagon. Something bigger, something outside the dusty streets and the whispers. She hesitated, then nodded. "I'll help," she said. Ryder smiled, the kind of smile that made the canyon winds seem softer. "Then grab your tools. We ride at first light." The rest of the evening passed slowly. Alara worked on her hover wagon, cleaning and tightening, but her mind kept wandering to the words Ryder had said. Courage. Heart. Those weren't words she heard about herself often. Usually it was clumsy, quiet, invisible. But maybe it wasn't about being pretty. Maybe it was about being her. She packed a small satchel with tools, a spare power cell, and a tin of protein bars. By the time the twin moons rose, painting the canyon walls silver, she was ready. Ryder was waiting at the edge of the town, his duster flapping in the night wind. His mechanical arm glinted under the moonlight. The drone's coordinates blinked softly on a small holographic map he projected. "You ready?" he asked. She swallowed, nodding. "Ready." They mounted their hover horses. His was black, sleek, with chrome plating along the legs. Hers was smaller, reddish-brown, with worn spots from years of work. The two figures rode side by side into the desert, dust swirling around their hooves. The canyon was quiet, except for the soft hum of hovering engines and the occasional distant howl of a desert creature. Stars shone brightly above, and Alara felt a thrill she hadn't felt in a long time. Freedom, possibility, and a strange sense of belonging. "First time leaving the outpost?" Ryder asked, breaking the silence. "Yes," she said softly. "It's bigger than I imagined. You'll get used to it," he said. "Out here, the stars are closer than the ground beneath your feet. But it's easy to get lost if you forget what really matters." She thought about his words, about herself. She wasn't pretty by the town's standards. She wasn't flashy or famous. But maybe the stars didn't care about that. Maybe courage and heart, like Ryder had said, were worth more than anyone's opinion. They rode for hours, following the holographic map that blinked softly on Ryder's wrist. The canyon walls rose around them, jagged and red, glowing faintly under the twin moons. Alara felt the wind whip her hair across her face, her worries slowly melting into excitement. Suddenly a shadow moved across the canyon floor. Her horse neighed and sidestepped. Ryder's hand went to his sidearm, but it wasn't a weapon he pulled. Instead, he tapped a small device on his arm, and a soft force field flickered in front of them. "What is it?" Alara asked, gripping the reins. "Looks like a canyon predator," Ryder said quietly. "Not dangerous if we stay calm, but fast. Keep your horse steady." The creature, a four-legged sleek alien with glowing eyes, watched them silently from a ridge. Alara's heart pounded, but Ryder's calm made her calm. Together, side by side, they rode past, the predator tracking them but never attacking. Once the threat passed, they dismounted near a small oasis. The moonlight reflected on the water, turning it silver blue. Alara dipped her hand into the cool water, letting the sensation ground her. "You did good," Ryder said, glancing at her. "Most wouldn't have kept their head. You have skill and courage. Don't forget it." Alara felt warmth creep into her chest. Maybe, just maybe, she could believe him. They set up a small camp near the oasis, engines humming softly in standby mode. Ryder pulled out a small packet of roasted space nuts, offering her some. "Eat," he said. "You're going to need your strength tomorrow." "Thanks for believing in me." Ryder shrugged, leaning back on his elbows. "I don't need to believe. I can see it. You've got something most people don't. Just remember it, okay?" That night, as she lay under the twin moons, listening to the gentle hum of the desert and the soft breathing of her hover horse, she thought about the words. Courage. Heart, believing in herself. And for the first time in a long time, she felt seen. Somewhere in the distance, the lost AI drone signal blinked faintly, waiting for them. But tonight it didn't matter. Tonight she wasn't invisible. Tonight, she felt ready for whatever adventure came next. And Ryder Colt, the rugged bounty hunter with a mechanical arm, was there beside her. Not judging, not rushing, simply noticing. There was enough. It was more than enough. Tomorrow, the real adventure would begin. But for now, under the stars of the Red Spine Canyon, Alara Quinn smiled. For the first time, she believed that being herself might just be enough. The next morning, the twin suns rose slowly over the Red Spine Canyon, casting long shadows across the jagged rocks. The air was dry and warm, carrying the faint metallic scent of nearby hover wagons and the desert winds. Alara Quinn adjusted the straps of her satchel and checked the tools she had packed. The thought of chasing a lost AI drone through the desert made her heart race, not with fear, but with excitement. Ryder Colt was already mounted on his black hover horse, scanning the canyon floor with sharp eyes. The mechanical arm on his left side glinted in the morning light, a reminder that he was more than just a man with a horse. He was a frontier legend. "You ready?" he asked, his voice calm, steady, and somehow comforting. Alara nodded, gripping the reins of her smaller reddish-brown hover horse. "Yes, let's find that drone." The two of them rode in silence for a few minutes, the canyon walls towering over them on either side. The silence was comfortable, not awkward. Alara had learned last night that with Ryder, she didn't need to prove herself. She only needed to be herself. The holographic map projected from Ryder's wrist blinked softly, showing the faint signal of the lost drone somewhere deeper into the canyon. It looked like a simple dot, but Ryder's experience told him it could be anything. An unstable drone, a dangerous creature guarding it, or even worse, scavengers looking to steal it. As they rode, Alara couldn't help but notice how different Ryder was from the people in her outpost. The townsfolk whispered and judged, but Ryder noticed. He noticed the small things, how she handled her hover horse, how carefully she packed her tools, how her eyes lit up when she solved problems, and for some reason, that made her heart feel lighter. "Do you ride through the canyons often?" she asked, trying to keep the conversation light. "But usually alone. Out here, you learn to rely on yourself. The people who can trust others are rare." He glanced at her briefly, a shadow of a smile on his lips. "That's why I asked you to come. You trust your skills. That's important." Elara felt her cheeks warm. Trust her skills? No one had said that to her before. Not like that. Not so genuine. She tried to hide her smile behind the edge of her satchel. The canyon floor opened into a wide plateau, and the twin suns reflected off crystal-like rock formations. Elara stopped for a moment, staring at the shimmering beauty. "I've never seen anything like this," she whispered. "It's amazing." "Out here, you notice things most people miss," Ryder said. "You pay attention to details, and it keeps you alive. That's why I like working with people who aren't afraid to look closely." She looked at him, and for the first time she felt she could see someone not for what they looked like, but for who they were. Ryder didn't care that her hair was messy or her overalls dirty. He noticed her mind, her courage, her heart.
They continued deeper into the canyon.
The path narrowed and dust swirled around their boots. A faint sound reached Elara's ears, metallic beeping, soft and irregular. "The drone," Ryder said, pointing to a cluster of rocks. "It's close." The drone wasn't just lost. It had been damaged. Sparks flickered from its side, and its sensors rotated in confused patterns. Elara knelt beside it. "It's scared," she said softly. "Poor thing. It doesn't know where to go." She examined the circuitry. "If I can repair this, we might be able to guide it back safely." Ryder crouched beside her, offering a toolkit. "I'll keep watch. Dad can't let anything unexpected get the drop on us." Hours passed as Elara worked on the drone, rewiring circuits and carefully replacing damaged components. Ryder stayed alert, scanning the plateau for threats, but he also watched her. Every time she solved a problem, her eyes lit up, and Ryder couldn't help but admire her determination. "You really have a way with machines," he said finally. "Most people would have given up." Elara shrugged, wiping sweat from her forehead. "I just like fixing things. Making broken things work again." "That's a good quality," Ryder said. "I like people who can see potential where others see problems." Most people would just leave the drone to rot. Elara's heart warmed. He wasn't just praising her skills, he was recognizing her for who she was. Not the messy hair, not the self-doubt, but her determination and her kindness. Finally, the drone whirred back to life, lights blinking steadily. It floated above the ground, circling Elara and Ryder once before settling. "Got you," she whispered, a smile spreading across her face. "You're okay now." Ryder smiled too, but his eyes held something deeper. "See? Courage. Heart."
Elara felt a rush of gratitude.
"Thanks for believing in me," she said softly. He shrugged, casual but sincere. "I didn't need to believe. I could see it all along." Their moment was interrupted by a sudden noise, a loud metallic screech echoing across the plateau. Both of them froze. A group of scavengers had appeared, attracted by the drone's signal. Their hover bikes were patched together from scrap, their armor mismatched, and they looked dangerous. But Ryder's calm presence didn't falter. "We can't outrun them all," Ryder said, "but we can outsmart them. Follow my lead." Elara nodded, gripping her tool satchel like a weapon. Together they moved carefully, using the rocks and shadows to hide their movements. Ryder's experience guided them, and Elara's quick thinking helped repair small sensors to mislead the scavengers. The chase was tense, the desert wind whipping around them. Dust swirled, sparks flew from the drone as it tried to protect itself, and the scavengers shouted in frustration. But Ryder and Elara worked together seamlessly, an unspoken trust growing between them with every maneuver. Finally, they reached a narrow canyon pass. Ryder set up a small decoy device, a shiny metal box that beeped like the drone. The scavengers, thinking it was the drone, veered off the path, giving Ryder and Elara the chance to escape. They slowed, catching their breath as the plateau stretched out in front of them. Elara's heart raced, not from fear, but from the thrill of working together. "We did it," she said, smiling. Ryder nodded, glancing at her. "We did, and you did great. Don't ever doubt yourself." Elara felt warmth bloom in her chest. For so long she had believed she wasn't enough. but with Ryder's words, his steady presence, and the adventure they shared, she began to feel something she hadn't felt before: confidence. As the sun began to set, painting the canyon in shades of red and gold, they set up camp for the night. The drone hovered nearby, lights softly blinking, a reminder of the day's triumph. Ryder pulled out a small pack of roasted space nuts and offered her some. "Eat. You've earned it." Alara laughed softly, taking a handful. "Thanks. I feel like I've done something important today." "You did," Ryder said. "And tomorrow we go further. The canyon isn't done testing us yet." She smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and anticipation. "I'm ready." As they watched the twin moons rise over the canyon walls, Alara realized something. It wasn't just about fixing machines or outrunning scavengers. It was about trust, courage, and finding someone who saw you for who you really were. And maybe, just maybe, she was finally starting to see herself that way too. Ryder glanced at her, eyes reflecting the soft light of the moons. "You've got heart, Alara. Don't forget that." "It's rare, and it matters." Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest. Heart, courage, trust, words she had never truly believed in before. But now, with the desert wind around them, the stars above, and Ryder beside her, she felt them growing inside her, steady and strong. Tomorrow, the canyon would bring new challenges, new dangers. But for the first time, she felt ready. Ready to face whatever came next. Not because she was pretty or strong or perfect, but because she had courage, heart, and someone who saw her for who she truly was. And that made all the difference. The morning sun barely peeked over the jagged cliffs of Red Spine Canyon, casting long, golden shadows across the rocky terrain. The wind carried a faint metallic hum from the distant hover wagons, but here, deep in the canyon, it felt empty, quiet, almost too quiet. Alara adjusted the straps of her satchel and climbed onto her reddish-brown hover horse. Ryder's black hover horse pawed at the rocky ground, eager to move. The drone floated just above them, lights blinking in a soft rhythm, like a heartbeat. Ryder tilted his hat back slightly, scanning the canyon. "We're close to the coordinates," he said. "The drone's final signal is somewhere near that ridge." He pointed toward a narrow canyon pass that opened into a hidden valley. "But be careful. This area isn't just rocks and dust. Things here don't always behave the way you expect." She felt a thrill mixed with fear. Every adventure so far had tested her, but something about this felt different, bigger, dangerous. They rode carefully along the rocky path. The canyon walls rose high on both sides, jagged and sharp. Alara's heart raced as loose stones tumbled beneath their hover horses' hooves. The drone's blinking lights guided them, floating just ahead like a tiny lighthouse. Suddenly, the drone beeped urgently, spinning in circles. A low growl echoed from above, and a creature leaped from a cliffside, a four-legged alien predator, sleek and fast, with glowing amber eyes. It landed just ahead, blocking their path. Alara froze, her chest pounding. Ryder's hand went to his sidearm. But instead of drawing a weapon, he quickly tapped his mechanical arm. A small energy shield flickered to life, blocking the predator's charge. "Stay calm," Ryder shouted. "Follow my lead." "Don't panic," Alara nodded, her hands shaking slightly. She had never faced something like this before. But Ryder's calm presence gave her courage. Together they guided their hover horses around the creature, using rocks and shadows to block its view. "Good," Ryder said, his voice steady. "Keep it moving. Don't let it corner us." Alara adjusted her horse's direction and moved closer to Ryder. It's fast," she whispered, adrenaline making her words tremble. "I know," Ryder said, "but we can handle it if we work together. Trust me." The predator leapt again, and this time it nearly knocked Alara's horse off balance. Her heart leapt into her throat, but she steadied her grip. She realized she had to rely on her instincts, her skills, and, most importantly, Ryder's guidance. They dodged and weaved through the canyon, the drone hovering above them, lights blinking frantically. After several tense minutes, Ryder led them to a narrow crevice between two cliffs. The predator was too large to follow, giving them a chance to catch their breath. Alara's hands shook, but she smiled faintly. "We made it," she whispered. Ryder gave her a quick nod, his usual calm mask showing a hint of pride. "You did more than that. You kept your head. Most would have panicked."
"You were steady, smart, and brave."
Her chest swelled with warmth. His words weren't about looks or appearances. They were about her courage, her heart, her trust. They moved cautiously through the crevice, the drone leading them to a hidden valley filled with glowing crystals. Bioluminescent flora bathed the valley in soft blues and greens, and the air smelled faintly of ozone. It was beautiful, magical, and dangerous all at once. "This is incredible," Alara whispered. She stepped closer to one of the crystals, watching the light dance across her hands. "I've never seen anything like this." Ryder's eyes scanned the valley. "Beautiful, yes, but we can't get distracted. The drone signal is strongest here, but that also means we might not be alone."
Alara's stomach tightened. She knew he was right.
Out here, in the frontier, danger could come from anywhere. But she also realized something important. She wasn't alone anymore. Ryder was beside her, calm, guiding, trusting her. The drone beeped urgently again, spinning in circles near a crystal cluster. As they approached, a small section of the ground beneath the crystals shifted. "A trap!" Alara jumped back, heart racing. Ryder reached out with his mechanical arm and triggered a device, stopping a collapsing crystal formation just in time. "Careful," Ryder said. "These canyons have surprises, but you've got quick instincts." "I like that." Alara nodded, breathing hard. "Thanks for helping me see them." Ryder didn't answer immediately. Instead, he focused on the drone, analyzing its signals and adjusting their path. But then he glanced at her, a quiet intensity in his eyes. "You've got courage, Alara. You've got heart. Don't forget that. Most people here wouldn't even try what you're doing." Her chest felt warm, almost like sunlight spreading through her. I think I'm starting to believe it," she admitted softly. They followed the drone to the center of the valley. It hovered above a small pedestal of crystal, its lights blinking faster than before. Alara examined it carefully. "It's stabilizing," she said. "The drone is almost ready to return." But then the ground shook beneath them. Rocks tumbled from the cliffs above, triggered by some hidden fault in the canyon. The crystals cracked, glowing brighter as the valley threatened to collapse. "Hold on!" Ryder shouted. "We move together. Follow my lead." Alara gripped her satchel and reins tightly. Her heart pounded, but she didn't panic. She trusted Ryder. She trusted herself. Together they guided their hover horses through the crumbling valley, dodging falling rocks and crystal shards. The drone floated above, almost like it was leading them to safety. Finally they reached a narrow canyon exit. The rocks behind them crashed and tumbled, cutting off the valley. Alara's knees shook as she dismounted, but Ryder's calm voice reminded her, "You did it. We did it." Alara smiled, breathing heavily. "We really did." The drone floated above, blinking in a soft, steady rhythm now, clearly relieved to be safe. Alara reached out and patted it gently. "See? You're okay now. We've got you." Ryder glanced at her, his eyes reflecting the glowing light of the valley. "You were amazing in there. Brave, smart, and steady. Most would have frozen." Her heart swelled. For so long she had believed she wasn't enough. But now, with Ryder's words, his steady presence, and the adventure they shared, she felt something new. Confidence, courage, heart. They set up a small camp just outside the valley, safe for now. The twin suns had dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky painted in deep purples and soft blues. The drone hovered nearby, blinking gently as if saying thank you. Ryder pulled out a small pack of roasted space nuts and offered her some. "Eat. You've earned it," he said with a soft smile. Alara laughed, taking a handful. "Thanks. I feel like I've done something important today." "You have," Ryder said quietly. "And tomorrow we continue. There's more to see, more to face. But you've already proven something today. You can handle it." Alara's chest felt full. It wasn't just about the adventure, or the drone, or even surviving the valley. It was about trust, about courage, about being seen for who she truly was. Ryder hadn't just believed in her. He had shown her that she could believe in herself. As they lay under the stars, listening to the gentle hum of the canyon winds and the soft blinking of the drone, Alara realized something important. This adventure wasn't just about machines, drones, or danger. It was about connection, trust, and courage, the things that made her strong, and maybe even beautiful in ways she had never understood before. Ryder's voice broke the silence softly. "You've got heart, Alara. Don't forget it. It's rare, and it matters." She smiled, feeling the warmth of his words settle deep in her chest. "I won't," she whispered. Tomorrow the canyon would test them again. More challenges, more danger. But tonight, she felt ready. Ready to face whatever came next, not because she was pretty, perfect, or fearless, but because she had courage, heart, and someone who saw her for who she truly was, and that made all the difference. The twin suns of Iridian were low in the sky, casting long red-gold shadows across the dusty outpost. The wind carried faint metallic hums and the scent of hot sand. Alara Quinn tightened the straps of her satchel, checking the drone one last time. It floated steadily above her, lights blinking softly. The journey through Red-Spine Canyon had tested her courage, her skills, and her heart, but it had also brought her something she never expected, a new sense of confidence. Ryder Colt rode beside her on his black hover horse, duster flapping in the wind. His mechanical arm glinted in the last rays of sunlight. For the first time in the journey, the desert felt calm rather than dangerous. They were returning to the outpost, victorious. "You handled yourself well," Ryder said, his voice steady but carrying a faint note of admiration. "I'm impressed." Alara shrugged, smiling lightly. "I couldn't have done it without you guiding me." "You guided yourself," Ryder corrected softly. "I just made sure we didn't fall off a cliff. But you kept your head, solved problems, and stayed brave." "That's all you." Her cheeks warmed. I think I'm starting to understand what you meant before. Courage, heart, maybe that's what matters." Ryder glanced at her, the sun reflecting in his eyes. "Exactly. That's what makes someone strong. You've got both, Alara. Don't ever forget it." The outpost appeared in the distance, its metal walkways gleaming under the twin suns. People were going about their business, fixing hover wagons, tending to small shops, and moving crates of supplies. Whispers followed them, curious eyes turning toward the pair and the hovering drone. Alara felt a small flicker of nervousness. Returning wasn't just about finishing the adventure. It was about facing the world again. As they entered the main street, Ryder raised his hand. "Everyone," he called out. "Alara Quinn helped retrieve a lost AI drone. She's the one who kept it safe and brought it back." Give her some credit. A few townsfolk nodded. Some even clapped softly. Alara's heart lifted. For so long, she had felt invisible, overlooked. But now, for the first time, her courage and skill were recognized. Alara looked at Ryder, eyes shining. "Thank you for saying that, for seeing me." He tipped his hat slightly, his expression unreadable but warm. "I always do. You're someone worth noticing." Later, they set the drone safely in the outpost control center. Its systems hummed smoothly, lights blinking steadily. Alara watched as it moved calmly across the room, a small smile tugging at her lips. "It's perfect," she whispered. "You made it perfect," Ryder said, standing beside her. "You didn't just fix it, you gave it life again. That's a rare thing. Not everyone can do that." Her chest warmed at his words, not because of flattery, but because he truly meant them. Ryder didn't judge her looks or her quiet ways. He saw her abilities, her heart, her courage, and somehow that made her feel seen. The day passed with light chatter, repairing hover wagons and helping the townsfolk with small mechanical issues. Alara moved with ease, confidence slowly growing inside her like a steady flame. Ryder watched from time to time, leaning against his hover horse, quiet but present. As the twin moons rose, painting the outpost in silver-blue light, Ryder approached Alara. "Want to walk for a bit?" he asked softly. She nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Together they walked along the quiet edge of the town, the soft hum of machines in the background. The desert stretched beyond the outpost, dark and still, yet beautiful under the moon's glow. Alara glanced at him. "Ryder, back in the canyon. When you said I had heart and courage, I didn't really believe it. But now," she hesitated. "I think I understand. I think I do have those things." Ryder stopped walking, turning to face her. "You do, Alara. And more. You're kind, brave, clever, the kind of person who makes others feel safe, even when things are dangerous. I've never met someone like you." She looked down at her hands, unsure how to respond. Words felt small compared to the way her heart raced. "You're not just strong," Ryder continued, voice quiet, sincere. "You're remarkable, and I want you to see that in yourself, the way I see it." Alara's eyes met his, and in that moment something shifted. The fear, the self-doubt, the whispers from the outpost. They didn't matter anymore. Ryder's words, his steady presence, and the journey they shared had shown her something she'd never realized. Being herself was enough. More than enough. I think I see it now, she whispered, a small smile spreading across her face. I'm not invisible. I'm me. Ryder's mechanical arm brushed a lock of hair from her face gently. Exactly. You're you, and that's more than anyone could ask for. The desert night was calm, only the soft rustle of the wind through metal walkways breaking the silence. For a long moment, they simply stood there, side by side, watching the stars shimmer above. It wasn't just the adventure or the canyon or the drone that had mattered. It was trust, connection, recognition, heart. Elara laughed softly, the sound light and full of relief. I never thought I'd feel this confident. Or... You deserve it, Ryder said simply. You always did. You just needed someone to remind you. The moons rose higher, silver light spilling across the dusty street. Elara felt a warmth in her chest she had never known. Courage, pride, and something gentler, something that made her heart beat faster. Ryder didn't say anything more, but she didn't need him to. His presence, steady and kind, was enough. After a while, they walked back to the outpost center. The drone hovered above, now calm and steady, almost as if it understood the peaceful moment. Townsfolk had gathered in small clusters, curious but respectful. Elara noticed a few nodding to her, acknowledging her courage and skill. She turned to Ryder, who gave a small, satisfied nod. You've done well, he said. Not just with the drone, but with yourself. You've grown, and you should be proud. I am, Elara whispered, feeling a spark of true happiness. Thanks to you. Ryder smiled, the kind of smile that didn't need words. Then, with a tilt of his hat, he said, The stars are wide and the frontier is long. But with courage and heart, you can handle anything. Remember that. Elara looked up at the night sky, filled with countless stars, the twin moons casting their gentle glow. She felt small yet infinite, brave yet calm, seen yet free. And most importantly, she felt ready for whatever came next, not just in the canyon or with hover wagons and drones, but in life itself. She had courage, heart, and someone who truly believed in her. The night was quiet, peaceful, and perfect. For once, Elara didn't feel invisible. She felt alive. And beside her, Ryder Colt, the rugged bounty hunter with a mechanical arm, simply smiled, knowing she had found her place in the universe. They didn't need words anymore. They had trust. They had heart. They had courage. And under the stars of Iridian, that was more than enough. For Elara Quinn, the adventure had ended, but a new journey was beginning, one full of possibilities, friendship, trust, and a quiet, enduring love that didn't need grand gestures to be real. She smiled, taking a deep breath of the desert air, and for the first time truly believed that she was enough.